And the question is to point where, or to make a mark where he was the furthest out from the entrance of his front door?
During this occasion when you lifted your golf bag to signal to the limousine driver.
This is purely an estimation. There's not much room there. So I would say to the westernmost point of possibly, I don't know if my body went that far, but to the, certainly in the area to the westernmost point of my benches.
What's the distance from the door to the driveway, to the beginning of the driveway?
I'd be totally guessing.
10 feet?
15 feet.
15 feet. And how many feet were you from the front door?
You told me not to assume, so I'm not going to
What's your
assume.
best estimate?
Halfway, 3/4 of the way.
From the front door?
Yes.
So you were at least 3 or 4 feet from the driveway?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. I'll put a little...
And what's that supposed to mean?
I'm sorry.
What is that, Mr. Baker? You describe it.
No, but I'm saying,
It's a cross.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that is not where he indicated, where he said at the furthest most, the westernmost portion of the benches, and the benches don't go out that far. So that's...
And that's an estimate, the westernmost portion of the benches, but roughly in that area.
There are aerial photographs of this property. There's...
You have any?
I do at the office.
Maybe you can bring one. We can do it, you can be real clear about it. Anyway, your testimony is westernmost part of the benches,
Roughly,
3 or 4
roughly.
feet from the edge of the driveway.
Yeah, I would say so.
And a standing there upright, a person at the Ashford gate can see unobstructed?
Upright, yes. I think if I was down, I used to have a bunch of bushes there at the time. Down, they would have, probably would have had a little bit of a problem, but standing upright, they should have had absolutely no problem seeing a person there. As they should have had no problem seeing anybody along this entire driveway on this end.
And at this time, when you picked up the bag, Kalen wasn't around yet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's take a short break.
Sure.
Great mind. Well, you know, I saw you guys. I had that break look on your face.
We are back on the record now, and the time is approximately 11:15.
That's just the copies with my markings on them. I'm going to mark as Exhibit 29 the piece of paper on which Mr. Simpson wrote the area of his house that is subject to the motion detector. Was at the time, June 1994. We'll omit this from the transcript. I'll just maintain custody of it.
I should have right. You
At the present time. Where's Exhibit 27? Right here. Mr. Simpson, referring to Exhibit 27, which is another sketch of Rockingham, when Mr. Kalen would access typically his property, his room, I should say, would he take this route that goes around the pool to get to his front door?
No.
Okay. Can you trace how he would go with the pen?
From the front driveway?
Yeah. And what you, where you terminated the line, is that the door to his room?
Yes.
Okay. This is Exhibit 27.
Okay.
And
Actually, I terminated to the wrong room. It was to my daughter's room. This is his room. I'll try to put an X there.
where the X is?
Yes.
Now, when Kalen was telling you about these noises, yesterday you indicated that he indicated the noises came from the other side of his wall, and I just would like you to put a marking there on this sketch so that we have a clear understanding.
I'm not sure if I indicated that he said the noises came from the other side of his walls. He thought it was, I thought he was talking about an earthquake.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any really idea where he said the noises had come from, but he was in his room and he thought we might have had an earthquake. And he was concerned about sounds or something. As I said, I wasn't really paying that much attention to him.
Did Mr. Kalin tell you where the sounds or noises that he heard or the earthquake that he felt had emanated from?
I don't believe so, but he may have, but I don't really know. He just wanted to go look around.
So you had no idea where on the property Kalin heard these sounds?
At that point, I don't believe I did, but he was talking about an earthquake, which I don't know where an earthquake emanates from. And he seemed to want to look around.
He did not tell you where on the property he believed he might have heard a prowler?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I don't think he even said it. Yeah. I don't believe so.
He did not tell you where on the property he wanted to go investigate with a flashlight?
Well, he was over by the garage when I saw him. When I was walking, he was hanging around by the garage and he had a flashlight. And as I said, as I came back in, there was some talk, and I think I suggested to him, well, let's get a flashlight. You walk one way, I'll go the other way, and we'll see.
Which way did you tell him to go?
I didn't tell him to go either way at that point. At that point, the conversation went into the flashlight, and at that point, he was going to go into the house to see if there was a flashlight.
When you said to him, you go one way and I'll go the other way, you did not designate which ways you were referring to, is that correct?
Well, there's only two ways to go if you're going to go around my house.
What are those two ways?
One, the way he would normally take.
Correct.
And another way is the way to the walkway south of my garage.
And could you trace that route?
From?
And then end it with a Y instead of an X?
What ended where?
Well, start at the garage, and you said there were two ways.
Yeah.
And describe what you just said.
I said he can walk around my house one way, I'll go the other way.
And what's
we'll
the
see.
other way?
The walkway. Where do I put the Y is what I'm trying to ask you.
Okay. Well,
The back of his front door?
yes.
Okay.
So you could actually walk on the south side of the garage, the
Yes.
south side of the property?
Yes.
And is there a path?
Yes.
And walk all the way to the southern end of the property and then come back around, correct?
It's not the southern end, it's the...
It's eastern end. You're on the southern end, you're walking along the southern end of the property, heading east.
Yes.
Go to the eastern head tip of the property, go north and come back around.
Yeah, there's a fence.
Down, the last part you just
Go
said.
towards the eastern tip of the property, head north and come back around.
There's a fence right here.
Are you describing what existed in June of 1994?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Dan, can we just agree that we're going to make copies of this?
Yes,
since we're done right now?
absolutely.
I think Mr. Baker's excited about me looking over his shoulder. And
I don't think Mr. Baker
I don't really
cares
care.
about that.
It's just hard to follow this anyway.
Right.
So.
And when you were designating, I'll go which way, you go the other way, did you have in mind that Kalin would go around the pool area and you would go around the garage?
We never really got to that point.
Okay.
At that point, the conversation went to a flashlight.
If you were heading down the property in easterly direction, starting with the garage and going to the end, are there any gates that you have to open before you get to the end?
There are gates there, yes.
Could
I
you
think-
mark them?
I believe there's one here.
Okay. Do you need keys to open those gates?
I don't think so.
Did you at that time?
I don't believe so, no.
Were those gates both in working condition then?
I don't know.
Do you know what the physical condition of those gates were at that time?
No.
Okay.
But I don't think they've ever been locked.
Do they have locks on them?
I don't think so.
Okay, you indicated two gates. Could you letter them A and B?
I'm guessing here now. I believe there's one here, and I know there's one
Okay.
here.
Now, along that southern path that you just circumscribed, what separates your property from the neighbor's property?
A fence and some hedges.
And the neighbor is the Salingers?
Yes.
Okay. And does that fence extend all the way from Rockingham to the end of your property?
I believe so.
Are there any openings in it?
I don't think so.
Were there at the time?
I don't believe so.
How high is that fence?
From where?
What is the height of the fence as it traverses down the southern part of your property in an easterly direction?
No, but what I'm talking about is,
Are
you
they-
mean from his property or from the Salinger driveway? Because it's different.
The different levels?
I really don't know.
Mr. Baker apparently knows.
I do.
Okay. Well, let's just go with what you know for now, okay? If you, what is your estimation of the height of that fence?
4 to 5 feet.
Okay, standing on your property?
I believe so, yes.
So it would come up to where on you?
I don't know what's 4 or 5 feet on me. I'm
Okay.
6 feet tall.
2 feet from the top of your head. And what's on the top of that fence?
It's tied off.
Are there any tied off?
Yeah, it's like the fence tie.
I see.
It's chain link tied off at the top.
Is it jagged?
I would say so.
Okay. Have you ever jumped that fence?
No.
On the other side, that is the southern side of that fence, there are bushes,
Yeah, trees,
Hedges?
bushes, hedges.
all on the Salinger side?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And you know the kind of trees or hedges that are along that southern path?
I know there's some Eugenias. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay, do they drop leaves down on your property?
Yes.
Do they drop anything else?
Berries,
What kind of berries?
Eugenia berries.
And where on the, have you seen Eugenia berries on that path before?
Yes,
Where? The whole path?
wherever the Eugenia trees are.
And where are they?
I don't think there's any west of the driveway, but I mean the garage rather, but I can't tell you where they start. I don't really have a memory of where they
Okay.
start.
Now, did Mr. Kalin indicate to you in any way, shape, or form that he had heard sounds or noises on the outside of his bedroom?
I don't recall. I really don't. He was talking about earthquakes and noises.
Did he indicate to you that he had heard sounds or noises or earthquakes or whatever on that, in the area of that southern part of your property behind the office and the various rooms?
I don't recall.
That's the 5th time you asked that.
You know, Mr. Baker, those comments are not helpful and they're self-serving.
Well,
And they're not,
and they're accurate. 'cause
they're,
I'm
they're of
bringing it up
no,
over here.
they're of no significance to the,
Well,
and there's nothing wrong in asking a question 5 times if it's appropriate.
well, we differ greatly in that.
Yeah, there was some talk about getting a flashlight. Are there parts of your property in the evening that are not illuminated such that you would need a flashlight to go look?
I would think so.
What parts?
I would say this, probably anything behind our nails room. What was Jason's room, Cato's room, I would assume that you would need a flashlight back there.
You're now referring to that pathway that you were describing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
A portion of the path that he was referring to.
From the garage to the end?
Yeah, and then this is not a pathway, this is just a dirt area around there.
As you come around, what is it, Arnell's room?
Yeah.
Is there a gate or a fence, I should say, all the way around?
No. Well, what do you mean? Separating my property from others' properties?
On the eastern end of your property, in the southeast corner, okay, as you head north here, is there a gate there?
As I head north, there's a gate right here.
I'm
Right
sorry, is there
here.
a fence? I misspoke.
Well, my tennis court fence.
And that goes to where?
My tennis court.
At the end here?
This is a fence that separates my property from
Okay.
Frank Job's
And
everybody's
Mr.
property.
Simpson, referring to the area just east of Arnell's room here, you see where I'm referring?
Mhm.
Is this a dirt area?
Yes.
Okay, so one can walk through that dirt area?
Mm-hmm.
What is in this area? Anything?
Shrubbery.
And does the fence proceed down this far?
Yes.
The Salinger fence
Yes.
goes all the way to the end of your property, right?
Yes.
And is there what's on the eastern end of your property?
Fence.
Coming up north, you mean?
Going south, north to south, yes.
Yeah, and who's on the eastern side of your property? What's on the eastern side here?
Other houses.
Do you know the names of those neighbors?
One is Job and the other one I don't know.
Job?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one, nobody's living there, I should say.
Okay, now this, just mark at C, that gate that you said is north of Arnell's room. Okay. Are there any other gates on that path that you described?
I don't believe so.
And do you know whether in June of 1994 the gate that you just marked as with the letter C was there?
Pretty sure it was.
And did it work?
I don't know.
Were all three of these gates on their hinges, is what I mean to say? A, B, and C. In June of 1994?
Yeah, yeah, I would assume so, yes. I shouldn't assume. I don't know.
Well, prior to, at any time on June 12, 1994, were you on that path that you just described behind the office, Kalen's room, and Arnell's room?
No.
And prior to June 12, when was the last time that you had walked down that path?
I have no idea.
Was it within a week before?
I have no idea. I doubt it, but I have no idea
You can't remember at all?
at all.
Okay. And when was the last time that you had walked down that path behind Kalen's room in the evening when it was dark?
I have no idea.
Have you ever done so?
All the way down? I doubt it, but I may have.
You remember doing so?
I think a couple of times I had to climb through the guest house window or something when the door was locked and somebody lost a key, possibly Arnell's room maybe on one occasion. I may have had to do that.
So you would have, from this driveway area, you would have gone down past your garage all the way down to Arnell's room?
I probably would have come out of the washroom if I'd have done that.
Where's the washroom on this?
And no,
You would have come out of the washroom.
I'm just guessing. I mean, I don't.
Well, what
this
I'm
is-
trying to, I don't want you to guess. I want you to know the last time that you remember at night going down that path.
I don't remember
Okay.
what door which way I approached it. No.
Have you ever do you remember going down that path with a flashlight at night?
No.
Okay. What doors access the property from that path, starting at with the beginning of the garage?
The door that goes into the garage and the door
you
that
mark
goes
that?
into my washroom.
Yeah. Mark that with an X and a circle. And then mark the next one with a Y in a circle.
Well, I've already put an X there.
Okay, that's fine. You can circle that X. So you got two doors there, right?
Yes,
And your master key works on both of them?
I would assume so.
Okay. Are there any other doors down the rest of that path?
No.
Okay. And if you come around the property, around Arnell's room, where's the next exterior door? Arnell's door?
Exterior to what?
Into any of those guest homes?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next one is Kalen's?
No. It's actually you got two Arnell's room here, so both Arnell's rooms.
Two Arnell rooms, so
Yeah.
two doors to Arnell's.
Yes.
And then the next one is what?
Kalen's.
And then the next one is what?
Into my pool, into my family room.
From the pool area?
Yes.
And could you put a Y in a circle around that? Okay, does the alarm work on that one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Why don't you finish off the exterior doors for me?
They're virtually all on that piece.
What are the markings? X you're making, right?
Well,
That's
Y's or
fine.
X's. I don't
Y's.
know, whatever
What are you
want.
making? Y's now?
Yeah, I guess they're
Okay.
Y's.
Keep going. Okay. Have you ever jumped the fence from the Salinger's property over onto your property?
No.
Now, yesterday you mentioned that you noticed some blood in the kitchen when you went to get your drink of water.
No, we didn't.
I don't want to mischaracterize your testimony. I want to go back to when you were in the kitchen getting a drink of water. And Kalen was there, and I think he was looking for a flashlight in the cupboard. Remember that?
Yes.
Now, at some point during that event, did you notice blood?
What I thought was blood, yes.
Was that the first time that you noticed what you thought was blood all day long?
Yes.
Where did you see the blood?
On just a drop, really, on the counter by my sink, and then on this side of my hand.
Okay, now, for the record, you're referring to the outside of your left pinky.
finger, yeah. Sort of fingernail area.
Near the fingernail area?
Yes.
Okay. You saw the blood on the counter while you were getting the drink of water?
No, my drink of water is in my washroom, but while I was at the counter, I did.
At the kitchen counter?
Yes.
And what were you there for?
Well, Cato was getting a flashlight, and I was drinking a glass of water, waiting for him to get the flashlight. Or talking to him, he was getting the flashlight. We were all in motion.
You saw one drop of blood on the counter?
What I thought was, yes.
Small drop?
Yes.
Like a pinpoint? How big was the drop of blood?
Small.
How small? You want to draw it for me?
No, don't draw it.
No. I don't know.
I want
just
you
small.
to describe the size of this blood drop.
Well, you know what? I didn't really study it. I mean, I just saw what I thought was blood, and I saw something on my hand, and I just took a Kleenex, not a Kleenex, I tore part of the roll of paper that I keep there.
You mean like the paper towels?
Yes. I just tore a piece off and was talking to Cato.
Okay, now, when you saw the little tiny blood spot, did you then look on your body, hands, whatever, where the blood was coming from?
No, I looked at as I said, I had the glass, so I saw it on my pinky finger. And other than that, I took a thing and wiped it and didn't see anything as I was talking to Cato, and I just continued on what I was doing.
Did you notice blood also on your pinky finger?
Just what I told you, on the side of my pinky finger up along near my fingernail.
How much blood did you see?
Not much.
A few droplets?
I wouldn't know how to describe it on my finger.
Was it dripping?
No.
You then got a little piece of a paper towel and put it on to wipe it off?
I kind of, as I was talking to Cato, I kind of wiped it. And
How big of a paper towel piece?
how much? Just a tear off.
Tear off of a normal size sheet?
That's right.
And what did you do with the paper towel piece that you tore off after you applied it to your left pinky?
I assume I'm in the kitchen. I could have thrown it in the garbage, or I could have thrown it as I went out the front door, because I immediately was exiting the house at that time.
You thrown it on the ground?
May have, yes.
What's your best recollection? What you
really
did with that piece of paper towel with the blood on it?
I don't have a recollection.
Now, when you applied it to your finger, did it get completely soaked with blood?
I don't think so.
Just dabbed it?
I just wiped the blood off, and that seemed to be it. I didn't see any other blood.
Okay. Did you see a cut or a scrape or an abrasion or anything like
No.
that? Any mark at all?
None.
Is your garbage in the kitchen right underneath your sink?
Yes. No, but it's in my kitchen, yes.
When is your garbage thrown out?
I don't know.
When does the trash come?
I think Tuesdays, maybe.
Tuesday morning?
I believe so.
Who takes it out?
Whoever's,
Do you ever take the trash out to be picked up?
What do you mean, to the street?
Yes.
In my life?
No, as a regular practice?
No.
Okay. Your maid does?
My gardener does.
Your gardener. What days did he come in June of 1994?
I don't know.
Every day?
I doubt it, no.
What days did the pool man come?
I don't know.
You don't know their schedules?
No.
Did they have your code?
No.
Code for the alarm
yeah.
in the house?
No.
What was the name of your pool man in June of 1994?
It may have still been Paul Brown. I don't recall when he passed, but he passed. but he was my pool man for as long as I've had the house virtually.
He passed
Passed away.
recently?
I believe so. I can't recall it was right before this incident or right after this incident.
And what was the name of your gardener in June of 1994?
Gus.
Still your gardener?
Gus. Yes.
What's his last name?
I don't know.
What's his company's name?
I don't know if he has a company.
Now, when you went into the, when you went from the kitchen out to the property, did you drop any more blood?
I don't know.
Did you see any?
No.
When you went into the limousine, did you drop any blood in the limousine?
I didn't see any. No.
The whole time you were?
The whole time.
Did you say anything to Kaylin about the cut on your finger at that time?
I didn't know if I had a cut on my
Okay.
finger at that
Did
time.
you say anything to Kaylin about the blood coming from your finger?
No.
Did he see you apply the paper towel to the blood?
I don't know what he saw. He was looking in the cabinet.
His back was to you when that happened?
I don't know. He was, I'm sure it was to me sometimes, and he turned to me sometimes. His back was to me sometimes. He was in the cabinet, so his back would have had to be to me. I was in the kitchen. I wasn't really paying attention which directions he was looking, other than the fact he was looking for a flashlight.
He never acknowledged to you that he saw the blood, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did the limousine driver acknowledge to you that that he saw blood?
No.
Did you tell him about the blood?
No.
Did you ask him for a paper towel or a napkin or a tissue or anything like that?
I didn't need one.
So during the entire limousine drive, you didn't need to apply anything to stop bleeding, correct?
Correct.
And so far as you knew, there was no more bleeding.
Yes.
And you did not bleed again until the incident in Chicago that you described yesterday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So far as you, so you had no cuts on your body that were bleeding when you left Los Angeles to go to Chicago, correct?
As far as I knew, correct.
When you went to the Bronco to get the cell phone case and the windbreaker, did you bleed in the Bronco?
Not that I was aware of.
Did you see any blood in the Bronco?
No.
Did you see any blood on the cell phone case or the windbreaker?
No.
Did you see any blood on any of the garment bags that you were carrying or the luggage bags?
No.
Did you see any blood on any other surface that entire evening other than the counter and your finger?
No.
He saw the blood on the side of his finger. If you saw the blood on the side of your pinky, your left pinky, did you have any idea how that happened?
No.
Do you now know how it happened?
No.
As you sit here now, you have no idea what caused that finger to produce a little blood?
If it produced the blood, no.
You don't even know if it came from that finger?
Correct.
You think you might have touched something that was bloody?
I have no idea.
Do you know if the blood that you saw was your blood?
No.
You don't know.
No.
Did you see anyone else bleeding that evening?
No.
So, just to be clear on this, when you looked at your left finger and you saw the little blood, you did not see any cuts on it, correct?
Correct.
And you examined it, correct?
No, not really.
But you looked at it enough to see that you couldn't see any cuts, correct?
No. I wiped it. I saw no more blood. And that was it.
And you didn't see any cuts,
No.
correct?
Correct.
To the best of your knowledge, there were no cuts on your left hand when you left the house to go to Chicago, correct?
None that I saw.
Correct. Correct?
Correct. None that I saw.
And none that you were aware of, correct?
Yeah, none that I was aware of. But I knew there was blood on my finger.
that one moment, correct?
Yes.
When you say none that you were aware of, was there any reason to believe that you had cuts on your hand?
I mean, other than the blood on his pinky?
Other
Well, you
than
said you
blood.
saw a little blood on your pinky, but you looked at it and didn't see any cuts.
Yeah, I wiped it, and I didn't see any other blood, so
And there was no blood coming from any other part of your hand, correct?
correct.
Or any other part of your body, correct?
As far as I knew, that's correct.
You say as far as you knew, did you have reason to believe you might have been bleeding without your knowledge?
I saw blood on my finger and a drop of blood on my counter. Yes,
That's the only blood you saw all day, correct?
correct.
Has it ever happened before where you saw blood on a part of your body without seeing a cut?
Yes,
When has that happened?
quite often someone will say, "Are you bleeding?" Sometimes it's something on my golf shirt, and it would be on my golf shirt, and I not see where it came from.
Would you look?
If there's a mirror, I can look at my face. It's not a mirror, I couldn't say.
And if you, those times when you saw blood on your body and you did look, was there ever a time when you could not tell where it came from?
Yes.
Did that happen often?
In my life,
5 years before June 12, 1994.
I don't know about often, but it's happened.
You would see blood, look, not see a cut, and not know where it came from,
Correct.
but believed it was your blood.
Yes.
Did you believe it was your blood there on June 12 that you saw?
I didn't think about it, but I assumed it was. Yes.
Did you cut yourself playing golf?
I don't believe so.
Did you cut yourself on a cell phone in the Bronco?
I don't believe so.
Did you cut yourself getting the case out of the Bronco?
I don't know.
You think you did?
No.
Did you cut yourself swinging those golf clubs on the evening of June 12th?
I don't believe so.
Did you see any blood on the foyer of your house, of your entryway?
No.
Did you see any blood on the driveway of your property?
No.
Did you see any blood outside your Bronco?
No.
Inside your Bronco?
No.
Did you see any blood inside your bathroom in your bedroom?
On the 12th, no.
When was the last time before the 12th that you did see blood inside the bathroom in your bedroom?
Every time I shave. Normally, most times I shave.
Do you use a manual shaver?
Yes.
Razor blade?
Yes.
You usually cut yourself?
Yes.
When you do that, you wash away any of the nicks and the blood?
Normally, yes.
Did you cut yourself shaving on June 12th?
I don't recall.
Did you shave on June 12th?
I believe in the morning I did.
What time?
Whatever time I got up would have been 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
To play golf?
Yes.
And you shaved?
I believe so,
You
yes.
remember applying any tissues or anything to stop any bleeding then?
I don't ever do that.
What do you do to stop the bleeding if you
I
cut
just
yourself?
wash it. Like I cut myself this morning a little bit here and was bleeding.
You just
I
wash
just
it with water?
Wash it with water and
It
hope
goes
it
away.
goes away, yeah.
Okay. You didn't cut yourself. When you shave, what hand do you use?
For my right hand, I believe, yes.
You're right-handed, right?
Yes.
And you didn't cut yourself shaving, excuse me, you didn't cut your left hand or finger shaving that morning, did you?
I don't believe so.
Were you using any razor blades at all later in the day?
No.
Were you using any sharp instruments later at all that day?
I don't believe so.
Did you handle a knife at any time on June 12th?
I don't recall what I had for breakfast or lunch, so I don't know.
What about dinner?
No.
Had no knife in your hand from about after lunchtime on June 12th? Is that correct? No knife in your hand after lunchtime on June 12th?
Yes.
That's correct?
Yes. I mean, I don't recall if my keychain had a Swiss Army knife on it at that time, but it probably did. So I might have had that knife in my hand.
Did you use that knife on your Swiss Army knife on your keychain on June 12th?
I don't recall.
What, at that time, did you use that knife for, if anything?
And scissors, I always use the scissors for strings and for nose hairs.
There's a scissors on that keychain,
Yes,
part of the Swiss knife,
yes,
so you got a little tiny utility knife.
that's correct.
What else is there besides a scissors and a knife?
A blade. Oh, the blade.
A blade
obviously.
and a scissors?
Yes.
Anything else?
I don't know, toothpick. No, yeah, toothpick possibly.
Metal?
No, plastic.
Did you use the blade or the scissors or the toothpick on June 12th?
As I said, I may have used the scissors, but I don't recall.
If you did use the scissors, did you cut yourself?
I don't recall, no.
To the best of your knowledge, you did not cut yourself on June 12th, correct?
That's correct.
Did you cut yourself on the airplane going to Chicago?
No. When I say to the best of my knowledge, I didn't cut myself. I never noticed a cut. But I assumed I was bleeding.
When you say you assumed you were bleeding now, you bled for a second, you wiped it off, and you didn't notice any more blood from that point on, correct?
I don't know if I bled for a second. I just know I saw a spot of blood and blood on my pinky.
So a spot of blood, wiped it off, and that was the end of your seeing blood that entire day and evening, correct?
Evening, for
It's
sure.
evening.
For
Well,
sure,
and did you
yes.
see any blood that morning other than when you
As
shaved?
I said, I don't recall, but in that evening, yes, that's the only time I saw blood.
That when you wiped it off your pinky?
Correct.
Earlier. Okay, well, just to be real clear on this, let's talk about the entire day of June 12th, other than that one moment when you saw the blood on your pinky. Did you see any other blood on your body that day?
I can't recall in the morning
Can't recall
if I saw blood in the morning or not.
when you were doing what?
When I shave, I always bleed, so I can't recall in the morning.
Bleed on the face, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it, depends how bad it is. It's on my face, and you take it off your face, or my neck. There's a couple of what I call areas that I bleed all the time, or a lot when I shave.
But you just don't remember.
Well, I would say the majority of the time I shave, I bleed.
By the time you left the house, there would have been no more bleeding?
Correct.
Okay. And from that point on until you saw the blood on your pinky, you saw no blood, correct?
I don't recall seeing any blood after that, yes.
Now, one second. Okay. You testified yesterday that you called Paula Barbieri around 10 o'clock p.m. to see if she was available to take you to the airport.
Yes.
Now, you knew that Paula Barbieri was out of town.
Well, I assumed she was.
In fact, she had told you that she was going to be either in Las Vegas or Arizona, correct?
That's not correct.
She had told you
I'm sorry, that's not correct.
That's not correct.
Thank you.
She told you that she was going to be out of town, correct?
That's not correct.
You said you assumed she was out of town.
Yes.
What was the basis of your assumption?
She told me she may be going out of town.
And you had tried to call her a number of times before 10 o'clock p.m. on June 12th, correct?
Correct.
And at no time did you get in touch with her, correct?
Correct.
So you assumed that she was out of town, correct?
More than likely, yes.
But you called her to see if she could pick you up?
Yes.
In fact, you had gone out earlier looking for her, hadn't you?
No.
You had, after the recital, you went out in the car to see if she was home, right?
I was going to, but I ended up not doing it.
You had not spoken to Paula Barbieri all day on June 12th, correct?
Correct.
The last time you spoke to Paula Barbieri was when? Last time prior to June 12th?
The night of June 11th.
And at that time, when you last saw her, well, when you last spoke to her, was it in person or over the phone?
In person.
Where were you?
Very last time I saw her. In front of her house.
On Wilshire?
Yes.
Is that does she live in a high-rise?
Yes.
Did you drop her off there?
Yes.
And you went home to Rockingham?
Yes.
What time was it?
Possibly around 11, maybe a little before 11
p.m.?
p.m., yes.
Did you walk her up to her room?
No.
And when what car did you go to? You went to an event that evening, didn't you?
Correct.
What was that for, the then First Lady of Israel?
No, it was actually for a hospital, but she was being honored for raising funds for a hospital in Israel.
What was the name of that event?
I don't recall right now. Drawing a blank right now.
Where was it?
At a private home in Bel Air,
Whose
Beverly
home?
Hills, Bel Air.
Whose home?
I can't recall right now.
When you dropped Paula Barbieri off at around 11 o'clock from that event, did she tell you that she was leaving town the next day?
No.
Did she tell you that she may be leaving town?
At that point, no, but we had already discussed it.
You had already discussed that she might be gone the next day?
Yes.
And she told you that she might go to Las Vegas or Arizona?
Yes.
Where in Arizona?
She didn't mention it.
Did she tell you the purpose of her trip?
She may have, but I don't recall.
What did she tell you?
I'd say she may have, so
If she
I
told
don't
you.
recall.
Did she tell you she was going to the Mirage Hotel?
No.
Did she tell you she was going to attend a Michael Bolton concert?
No.
Did she tell you what hotels she might be found in?
No.
Did you have a fight with her that evening?
No.
You had a pleasant evening with her?
Very pleasant.
There was no tension or conflict between the two of you?
Not at all.
Did you discuss your plans for June 12 with her?
Discuss them, no.
Did you tell her what you were doing?
For the most part, yes.
And what did you tell her?
I was playing golf. Well, she knew I was going to play golf, and that Sydney had a recital.
How did she know that you were going to play golf?
Because I always play golf. And I must have mentioned it, but I always play golf.
And did you tell her that you were going to Cindy's recital?
Yes, I'm sure I did at some point during that week. I don't know if we discussed it at all that night. Matter of fact, I doubt if we discussed it that night.
You had just gotten into town on Friday night, June 10, correct?
Correct.
She picked you up at the airport, right?
Her and the limo driver, but I ended up going with her.
You had two cars there.
Yes.
Who was the limo driver?
I don't know.
And you spent the evening of that Friday, June 10th, in your house or in her house?
I don't recall.
Did you spend it together with her?
Yes.
And that was Friday night, correct?
Yes.
And Saturday night, after this event, you did not spend the evening with her.
on Saturday night?
After this event at the private residence, you did not spend the evening with her, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, correct. I was
By the way,
something
when
else.
you
I'm sorry, I was.
Nothing.
when you spent the evening with her on Friday night, you got up to play golf early on Saturday morning, correct?
Yes.
What time was your tee time?
You don't get a tea time there.
Oh, what time did you start playing golf?
Probably a little before 7 or about 7.
What time did you awaken on Saturday morning, June 11?
Probably 5 o'clock.
And
Right around 5.
who did you play golf with on June 11?
Craig Baumgarten, Alan Austin, Mike Melchiori, and Bob Hoskins.
I'm sorry, Alan Austin, Mike.
Melchiori, I can't spell his last name.
Melchiore, I think.
Bob Hoskins, and I believe Craig Baumgarten.
Baumgarten.
Yeah.
5 of you altogether.
Yes.
Did you, what did you shoot?
I don't know.
What was your handicap in June of 1994?
I believe I was around a 12.
Did you play for money?
Yes.
Did you win
I don't recall.
on June 11th?
I don't recall.
You don't recall what you shot?
No.
Shoot your handicap, basically?
I don't know.
Now, during, when you played golf on June 12th, by the way, did you also play with the same people?
Correct.
And did you also play for money?
Yes.
Did you win?
I don't recall.
What did you shoot?
I don't know.
No recollection?
No.
There's a rule in golf, you cannot tee it up unless you play for money.
That's why I don't play. What were the stakes you were playing for?
In this group,
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
I don't know the relevance of that. I've been instructed not to answer.
Did you get checks from any of those people in your group on Saturday or Sunday?
I don't recall.
Did you get cash from them after you played on Saturday
I don't recall.
or Sunday?
I don't recall.
Did you and Paula Barbieri have a discussion from the time she picked you up Friday evening until the time you dropped her off on Saturday night at 11 o'clock p.m. about her going to the recital with you?
Never.
Never came up?
Never came up.
Did it come up in any prior conversations?
Never.
Did you invite her to go with you?
No.
Did she ask to go?
No.
Why didn't you invite her?
Because I didn't invite her.
She was your girlfriend then, right?
Sure.
You had a monogamous relationship with her at that time, is that right?
With who?
Paula.
Monogamous?
Yeah. She was the only woman you were dating, correct?
Yes, correct.
How long had you been in a monogamous relationship with her as of June 11?
I assume you mean by monogamous that was the only person he was dating, because that's what you just said.
Only person you were romantically involved in.
Okay, fine.
Am I missing something, Mr. Baker?
Sir, I don't think you've missed a hair on Mr. Simpson's face so far. You have redefined tedium.
The truth is in the details. You may answer.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
I
What was
forgot.
So,
What was the question?
Question, how long had you been in a monogamous relationship with her as of June 11th?
I'm a little confused by the question, but if she's the only girl I had sex with for probably the previous 4 weeks.
When you say girl, you mean girl or woman?
Woman, yes.
Previous 4 to 6 weeks?
Yes. Not 4 to 6 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks?
Yes.
Did you tell Paula that this recital for Sydney was an important event to you?
No,
Did you discuss it at all with her?
not at all.
Did you make a point of not discussing it with her?
No, I don't think I thought about it much.
Did you ever invite Paula to an event where Nicole was?
When I wasn't with Nicole, I had no idea where she was going to be. So, not knowingly, no.
That's what I meant. Knowingly invite Paula to an event where you knew Nicole was going to be. Did you ever do that?
Knowingly, no.
Okay. Did you ever invite, for example, Paula to any family functions where Nicole would be?
No.
You considered this a recital for Sydney a family function, correct?
Partially, yes. Yes.
Partially? What do you mean by that?
I didn't think about it. I just wanted to, if Sydney would have been the 5th thing, I would have been in and out of there in 10 minutes. That was what I was thinking, getting in and out of there.
Why were you thinking of just getting in and out of there?
Because I was tired, and I just wanted to go to it and get in and out of there.
Did you know what order she was on the program?
No,
What order, what number was she?
30-something,
Out of how many?
30-something,
You near the end?
yes.
Now, you said you had a pleasant time with Miss Barbieri, right?
Very pleasant.
Did you and she discuss having children together?
In a way, yeah.
Explain that.
There was a big house, and we were talking about, you know, these people, how many kids you can put in a house that big.
You mean yeah, I think I asked you, I don't remember your answer. Whose house was it?
I don't recall.
Okay. That's the house you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
You and she were talking about having a house full of kids?
It wasn't a serious conversation. It was just about the house, and we were feeling good, and we were being very romantic, and we were just talking about filling a house up like that with kids.
Okay. Did you have any romantic involvement with her that evening?
No, other than hugging and kissing, yes.
Okay. Kissed her goodbye
Kissed her all the time we were in that place.
in the residence?
Where we were at the affair, yeah.
Okay.
It was very romantic.
Then, when you went back to Rockingham that evening, well, first of all, you didn't, any particular reason why you and she didn't spend the night together?
I was tired and I was going to get up early.
Did you have an argument about that?
Not at all.
An argument about your getting up early to play golf?
We didn't have an argument, no.
A discussion?
No,
No conversation about it?
no.
Did she tell you that she wished you didn't play golf the next morning?
No,
Did she suggest that to you in any way?
no. She didn't, no.
Who did?
Nobody did.
Did you, when you left the Miss Barbieri that evening, you had no sense that anything was wrong with your relationship, right?
No.
That's incorrect?
I think I said no, didn't I?
Meaning my statement was correct. Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
And the next morning, when you got back to Rockingham that evening, did you go to bed
Yes,
right away?
yes.
And when did you get up? 5:30?
5 o'clock or so the next day, 5:30 maybe.
And you made breakfast for yourself?
No,
Did you eat breakfast?
I may have
Where?
at the club.
What time did you leave your house?
I don't know.
About what time?
5:30, 6 o'clock,
Did you-
6:15 maybe. I don't know.
That evening, you were alone in the house, correct?
Yes.
Did you,
That evening?
I'm
That-
sorry, that morning? Well, the evening before, on Saturday evening, when you went to bed, you were alone in the house, right?
Yes.
When
far
you
as I
say the
know.
house,
Yeah.
are you including Cato's and Arnell's room? No? Okay.
Let me clarify. When you went to bed the evening of June 11, there was no one in your home that evening except for Kalen and his guest house and Arnell and hers, right?
If she was
I
there, I
don't
don't
know.
think she was
I
there.
don't know if they were there.
You have no idea if they were there, right?
Yes,
They come and go as they please without having to go inside the house, correct?
correct.
You got up at 5:30, and what did you do?
Which day are we talking about, Saturday or Sunday?
Morning of the 12th.
Well, I showered, stretched, showered, got out of the house.
How long did you stretch?
I don't know. I normally stretch before I get out of bed, if you call it stretching.
For how long?
I don't know.
5-10 minutes?
I don't know.
15 minutes?
I really don't know.
No recollection?
No.
And after you stretched, you took a shower
Yes.
and you put on clothes?
Yes.
Did you shave after you showered?
I shaved in the shower.
In the shower. Is that where
Yes.
you usually shave?
Yes.
And when you got out, did you put on a robe or did you put on clothing?
I probably just got dressed.
And you put on royal blue golf pants,
I believe so.
white Reeboks?
Maybe.
What did you put on?
I don't recall.
What socks did you wear?
White Sox.
And what shirt?
A golf shirt.
What color?
I don't know.
Did you put a watch on?
I don't know.
Okay, then what did you do?
Went to the golf course.
Just left your bedroom, went right downstairs into the golf course.
That's correct.
Okay, let's stop for the videotape.
This is the end of tape number 1 of volume 3. The time is approximately 12:07, and we are off the record.